Hi, I wanted to share with you something really incredible. It was from a webinar that Belinda and myself gave to loads of young people from around the world, all of them at some stage looking to go into business school, and particularly the whole international business school. We challenged them to understand what they expect their worth to be, their net worth to be, compared to a self-learning algorithm within the automated business process, or robots. We started off by asking them what they thought they'd be worth financially. What did they expect, in their first gig? Then we asked them in terms of what would their, point of difference be? Okay, what kind of pain, what anxiety, what issues do they want to solve in their business? So their focus is upon reducing that pain. So that demonstrated to the audience that they feel, they experience, they empathize. If they solve that problem, we want to know, what would that give people? What would that do? What the so what? And then, of course, we looked at, well, how much money you need? How, can you do this off your own paycheck? So we started getting a real fix. Okay, what's the value proposition that they can use, that they can show that they should be funded? Where would that differentiate from, say, an algorithm, a robotic algorithm, putting together a business plan? What's the separation? And for the audience, we're able to then illustrate the point that they're not a robot. They care, they feel. And that's really important, because in differentiating yourself, those are going to become key factors on whether you live above that line, that digital bread line, by virtue of robots work for you or you work for them. So we gave them some sense of what those tools would be if they could live above the line and use these digital tools. So looking today at, low code, on what you can do today, what Microsoft can do. And it's really impressive. You can build not just website, build entire complex apps, huge back-end integration, anything that, is a Microsoft product effectively, and or even on AWS. So give that to the hands of these young people. You better be careful. They'll be up to your jobs. In terms of their productivity, be huge. Look at this particular interview and go to 7 minutes, 16 seconds, where it demonstrates how he's self-learned mathematics programming. So GPT-3 can actually build programs for you as you just articulate them. Microsoft now have licensed. So if you take the Microsoft step, which is pretty scary in its own right, put GPT-3 on, who can interface with you, and just leave them to it. Ask them to solve a problem, even find the problem and then solve it. Leave it to them. Again, what will be the worth of this robot? What happens when you've got a $50 GPT? And not only that, your customers have got them, consumers have got them. Where do you fit into that above the line? What can you do that they can't? And that's not a bad question to ask yourself. And back to Elon Musk, where's this going? Well, I'm sure most of you heard about the experiments with putting in chips into the brain. Tried it out on monkeys, poor things. But this is the machine that will put a chip in there. And the purpose of the chip is to be able to have physical connection to different parts of your brain in health, linking up and solving problems where messages aren't getting to the brain from limbs, for example. Pretty cool stuff. But where Musk is really driving this is the direct link between your brain and everyday technology. When everyday technology is Microsoft low code and GPT-3 working as your brain extension, then I didn't actually show this to those students. I didn't want them to lose too much sleep. The rest of it was enough for the purposes. But for you, consider this. When you compete with someone who can do that, and you will be, unless you're retiring very shortly, okay? And as that bandwidth grows, as that connectivity grows, then what would be the worth of these people versus your own, even if you're just looking on productivity, right? But imagine what you could do if you had that, okay, subservient to you. Thrust is that we teach in my subject of this in Holt, is if you can capture that value and in particular human attributes, human virtues like kindness, and mechanize that into a system like healthcare, and then not only to measure and validate the value impact of that kindness on the system, people, the economy, capture that as a legal artifact, tokenize it, create that into currency, which in turn through the transactions becomes capital, okay, based upon human virtue capital, like natural capital, as well as financial, which we're familiar with, and then apply that to a geographic region. And once you've got automation, only then can you really ramp up with total convergence. That's when crowds get really interested. S-curve adoptions happen so fast. Sentiment drives market because it's complete market liquidity. Everything becomes commoditized. Economies have shifted in terms of these new types of hybrid economies, okay? But everything becomes value-based, not benefit. I mean, what we're talking about, what we teach is the value is the measurable value of a given benefit, its impact upon everything. And that's why you can calculate, having done my course in Holt, the ability to determine the probability of what will happen based upon the value you generate by virtue of solving problems, reducing pain, and enabling aspirations. If you can describe any action within a given role, within the context of a decisional rule table, it will be automated. You know, we gave them some news scenarios to play with, like Wall Street's bets, you know, where you can get crowd aggregation that can have enough same power as a main marketplace where you know, my mantra for young people is you don't have to get angry, you don't have to be an activist, you know, just get, you don't have to get mad, get even in terms of power. And these are the sorts of ontologies that these young people are building, whereby they're able to aggregate demand for the first time in human history and measure, match that up. So we're looking at, well, what would be the value, sum total value of those? And then what's your network, your net worth in relation to being able to not just achieve that, but then create those digital assets, which are massive, absolutely massive in terms of the in terms of what will be generated over the next 5 to 10 years, and how do you actually acquire rights or ownership of some of those assets. For those who aren't heading to Holt, Belinda and myself have taken elements of all of that learning. The two we're really focused on is being able to get a sprint going, whereby if you've got a good idea to solve a problem, we can take you through that program very, very fast, give you a free app, which you keep, get you a quiz so that you can sort of tease it out to begin with, have 2 sessions with you, and that generates the app, an 18-page report on that, that you can then determine whether your good idea is worth investment in it, and it gives you the basis for that pitch. And we've also offering mentoring programs as little as $100. So have myself do that, or Belinda do that, or the both of us, with her experience on in corporate government, and then in terms of how you manage the your own personal journey, and in particular acquiring the courage, as you can imagine what it's going to take, then Belinda's the person to the go-to person on that. We work very closely together, and we can get you somewhere a lot faster. So thanks very much. And if you're interested in doing a webinar for your group on that particular subject of differentiating yourself from a robot, or being able to determine what the potential value of a good idea to be in order to work out if it can work, then come talk to us. Even just book in for a call an hour. Thank you very much.